Our purpose is really crucial to what drives all of our decision making. And our purpose is to empower communities and to drive climate change or climate action at scale.
We need to go back to the last man, the last woman, the last child in the 52 million Kenyans to make them first of all understand that the reason why the rains of this season came 1 month late is because of climate change.
Those carbon credits are going to not only be valuable for trading and for offsets, but we're empowering communities with this. We're bringing the money back to the community.
For me, we have so many achievements, but when Verity came, that's when I felt this is our biggest achievement.
The company Verity, our purpose is really important to us. It drives our entire business, and our purpose is to empower communities. We use agriculture and nature-based solutions to drive climate change or climate action at scale, emphasis on scale. And the toolbox that we use to achieve that is a vertically stacked technology toolbox, best available science, and some pretty innovative financing that we bring to these projects. So we started in Australia, that's where we are headquartered. And we, on a first principles basis, said where are the best carbon sinks? In New Zealand, we've got on 2 islands, we've got projects there. And we've just recently registered our first project over there, which we're very pleased with. Again, sticking in the Asia context, we open up an office in Singapore. We like Singapore because it's a centre of excellence for carbon financing and carbon trading, etc. And we like that connectivity on a global aspect. And then we also open up offices in East Africa, and have got projects in East Africa. So we've got our largest office is in Nairobi, where we are supporting 2 very large projects. It is a very ambitious project. Under President Ruto, he announced a 15 billion tree planting program. We wrote to the government saying we can help be a part of the solution of that. And we requested an opportunity to plant up to 4 billion trees.
In Africa, the scars of climate change run deep. Despite contributing to just 4% of global CO2 emissions, this continent shoulders 80% of the consequences, a cruel irony of injustice. In wealthier nations, infrastructure offers a buffer. But here in Kenya, climate change is immediate, unforgiving, and unfiltered. Failed rains, scorched earth, crops wither before they can feed a family. Droughts are no longer cycles, they are a relentless reality. It's no surprise that President Ruto has set an ambitious goal to plant 15 billion trees in order to restore Kenya's landscapes, to reclaim what's slipping away. And at the heart of this mission is Verity Nature, a company with a bold vision to empower communities, restore nature, and act on climate change, but most importantly, to do so at scale. Verity was selected by President Ruto to plant 4 billion trees in Kenya, a staggering number, yet one that could transform the country's future. We sat down with a local farming family, those who live this crisis daily, to hear how climate change has altered their world, their lands, and their lives.
Long time ago, before people became too much into money market, doing all those things, the rainforest cover was very good. We were planting in March every year. The lanes were starting on the 15th or 14th all the time. And they used to go up to about 2 months, whereby in the 3rd month the crops are already ready. Then after people started cutting trees in the forest, it started changing. You could find that the rains are getting late for maybe like about 1 month, like that, and it continued. Today we don't predict. So if we can replant the trees again, then maybe it will go back to where it was.
Reforesting Kenya's landscape should help to restore its ecosystems and mitigate the direct effects of climate change. But how do you ensure the availability of all of these trees? Verity partners with organizations that collect and cultivate seeds from native tree species, nurturing them into seedlings. These seedlings form the foundation of Verity's ambitious goal to plant 4 billion trees in Kenya, ensuring a continuous and sustainable supply. We visited one of their key suppliers, the Centre for Ecosystem Restoration Kenya, located on the Brackenhurst property.
My name's Sean Anderson. I'm one of the directors of Brackenhurst Retreat and Conference Centre. And this is a property, 100 acres, located just north of Nairobi. And 25 years ago, it was totally devoid of indigenous tree species, very low biodiversity. And we had a vision to see this property restored as a model for ecological restoration, restoration of African forests in Kenya. And to do that, we knew that we needed professionals, researchers, scientists who really understood what restoration is really all about. And also, of course, to get the plant material that's needed for those restoration properties across the region. So seed collection, seed propagation became an important focus through CIRC on the Brackenhurst property.
Behind us is the Centre for Ecosystems Restoration Seed Bank. It has the ability to store up to and over 10 million seeds. The idea behind this is to ensure that the restoration projects and the government targets across the country can be supplied with enough native plant material.
Hi, my name is Denzel Indasi. I'm a research associate at CIRC, Centre of Ecosystem Restoration Kenya. And here inside, we're in the seed bank. This is where the seeds are stored after they have been collected by the community and the different organizations that partner with us. So after cleaning the seeds, we place the seeds in the trays here so that we make sure that the seeds are dried enough. After a period of time, we take a sample of the seeds, place them in a Ziploc bag, then measure the temperature and the humidity using the data logger.
We've got the seeds now from the seed bank. They've come here. One of the first things that we'll do even before we store them is do a viability test. So often what we'll do then is we'll plant 4 rows of 25 seeds each. So once they get a bit bigger than this, we'll then prick them out and then take them across to our to the potting area, and then get them from there and then put them out in the nursery for them to grow on for 3, 4, 5 months, depending on the species.
We're talking billions of trees.
Correct.
You're committing to planting 4 billion trees.
Up to 4 billion.
Up to
yes.
4 billion trees.
Yes.
That's an audacious task. You were speaking earlier around scale. This is potentially the largest project for ARR in the world.
Correct.
And you're not daunted, you're not fazed by this audacious task.
Like all problems, you just break them up into single steps and single solutions. So it will take us approximately 12 years to get 2 billion trees into the ground.
Okay. How large an area are we talking about here? Because it seems that it's at a countrywide level.
It is countrywide, but if you break it down, it's about 4.5% of Kenya's surface area.
So how many hectares would that be?
1.765 million hectares.
Wow.
Yeah, and we have a very sophisticated way on how we can achieve that. The first thing that we did is we looked at projects and why they failed. What are we doing different that gives us the confidence that we can achieve this?
Yeah.
So there are so many layers to this, but let's just break it down. First, you need to address the integrity issue of you get somebody to plant a tree. How do you know that the tree survived?
Yep.
And how can you claim a credit and have confidence that you've addressed the permanency issue?
Integrity has long been a contentious issue in carbon markets, widely discussed, often scrutinized. Critics and investors alike ask the same fundamental question: how can we be sure that every tree is actually planted and that those trees survive to maturity, sequestering carbon as intended? To answer this, Verity developed a cutting-edge digital measurement reporting and verification, or DMRV platform, a comprehensive toolbox designed to enhance transparency and accountability across every stage of the carbon project lifecycle. This platform supports all types of nature-based carbon projects, adhering to the highest international voluntary carbon market standards, but ensuring integrity in remote wilderness areas presents unique challenges. To meet them, Verity has engineered ruggerized field systems, custom-built applications, and hardware solutions capable of capturing real-time data directly from the ground. From the moment a tree is planted to the issuance of carbon credits, every data point is recorded immutably. By leveraging Web3 technologies, Verity ensures project transparency and long-term sustainability, creating a system where trust isn't just promised, it's proven. Justin Baird, the mind behind this technology, explains how the toolbox was created, how it works, and how it's redefining integrity in carbon markets.
Carbon projects often take place in remote, challenging environments with no internet or electricity. So to support our technicians, we've developed the Verity Sync Case, the VSC as we call it, a ruggedized portable system designed to capture, store, and sync data seamlessly in these conditions. And here's how it works. At the end of a field day, technicians connect their tablets to the VSC. The system automatically backs up all collected data, syncing it across the industrial PC and the 2 external SSD drives. In case of a device failure, like a tablet being lost or damaged, the VSC allows for seamless data restoration to a new device, ensuring no downtime in the fieldwork. Our software suite includes the Field app and the Mobile Observation app, each tailored for different aspects of fieldwork. The Field app is optimized for rugged tablets and works entirely offline. It supports baseline inspections, biodiversity monitoring, soil and water chemistry analysis, and hydraulic and climate data collection. The Mobile Observation app, designed for phones, simplifies capturing photos, videos, and GPS-tagged observations. Its intuitive interface ensures that field data is captured accurately, even by non-technical users. So how did we come up with the idea for this app and this patent and all the things that we've been doing over the past year? So I was driving in a car with Brian Matembi, and Brian told me when we were in the car that there had just been this National Tree Planting Day. And the National Tree Planting Day was a holiday that President Ruto had just kind of surprisingly announced. Have a day off, spend time with your family. All I ask is plant 1 tree for Kenya. Because he wanted to start bolstering the numbers towards the 15 billion tree target over the next 10 years. It was a very widely celebrated event, but then someone asked the question, how many trees do we plant? No one had the right answer. There was no specific statistic, right? There was nothing captured. And at that time, I literally said, while we were driving in the car, I said, what we should do is we create a mechanism that allows any Kenyan citizen to take a picture of the tree when they're planting and to give us enough information to verify that so that we can have the robust information about that tree planting event. And then what we should do is protect the tree. So in other words, ask people to go back and let us know, let's say 3 months later, 6 months later, how the tree's progressing. We want to know whether that tree survives or not, and create a real-time dashboard of all the trees that have been planted across the country. And then I said, even better, let's incorporate M-Pesa to literally give people money in support of them protecting the tree and making that tree grow.
Here's how it works. Verity generates carbon credits by planting trees, removing CO2 from the atmosphere. 1 carbon credit represents 1 ton of CO2 removed, which companies purchase to offset their residual emissions. But instead of Verity planting all the trees, a process that would increase costs and complexity whilst relying on foreign labour, they built a system where every Kenyan can participate, help unlock the ambitious goal of planting 4 billion trees, and earn money in the process. To ensure transparency, every tree planting is verified with photos, before and after. But planting is just the beginning. Trees must also survive and thrive, which is why the app allows users to monitor and protect trees over time, capturing evidence of their growth through photo documentation on their land. For both activities, planting and protecting trees, users earn points, which can be converted into Kenyan shillings. To ensure easy and instant access to earnings, the app integrates seamlessly with M-Pesa, Kenya's widely used mobile money platform. By linking directly with M-Pesa, Verity's app provides a direct financial incentive for communities to restore their ecosystems, making tree planting not just a climate solution, but a real economic opportunity.
We build this whole application in a framework called Flutter that actually allows us to compile this application for both Android devices, iPhone devices, and even tablet computers, and even a web app. The way the system works is it effectively doesn't need any internet connection to work. So even though we're taking pictures, we're out in the field, we're capturing GPS data, all of these things, it all works in a kind of offline mode, even if you have a data connection. But given that this is going to be used in all different rural areas across Kenya, you do not need to have that the internet connection to be able to capture all the information. And then what happens is you take the pictures, you might come back into where you have Wi-Fi or you have a data connection, and then it will synchronize in the background to our data centers. We're here today at the iColo data center, and we've decided to bring all of our data infrastructure and our services here to iColo because of their sustainability practices and the opportunity to have redundant data centers across Kenya, as well as for our operations that are moving into Uganda and other locations.
My name is Ranjit Cherikal. I'm the founder of iColo, a data center company which we set up about 9 years ago. One of the very special things about Kenya is the fact that most of the power we consume to power our data centers is renewable. So 75% of all energy generated in Kenya is from a renewable source, but consumption is even higher, closer to 95%. We really want to make sure that actually our customers in our buildings, particularly ones that are very concerned about the environment, have the ability to know that the power they're consuming to store the data that they generate is indeed transformationally carbon neutral. So what Verity does is in this very unique space where they are using digital products, using digital infrastructure to ensure that we don't leave a footprint into the future. It's important that more and more sort of entities and people and folks like me who consume pay attention to that space to make sure that actually in the end we have a very powerful solution where in spite of our generation actually we leave a better environment.
Verity has partnered with Brian Wutembe, a local farmer and entrepreneur, to scale this initiative through CCB Corridors, a collaborative public-private partnership with the Kenyan government. Brian explains how Verity is transforming not only the environment, but also the lives of those who depend on the land.
We need to go back to the last man in the 52 million Kenyans. The last man, the last woman, the last child in the 52 million Kenyans. To make them first of all understand that the reason why the rains of this season came 1 month late is because of climate change. The reason why they might not have good bumper harvest this season is because of that climate change. Again also, we need to make them understand what is the value of them participating in resolving it. Most of the Kenyans, above 50%, live below the poverty line, $2 or so a day. Now, when you tell that person to spend $5, $10, $20 buying the trees, really it does not make sense to them. So as CCB Corridors, it is the reason why we are coming in to see how do we work with that farmer, avail that seedling, get him the right seedling that he can plant, be able to compensate him or to be able to give him a reward that motivates that farmer to keep planting more trees, to keep doing it over time, and to keep taking care of the tree. one of the reasons and one of the criteria that we were using to select our partner was a partner who was able to fill in the gaps or the questions that existed. One of the questions is the ability to track, because we need to be able to give, for example, credits that are got higher integrity versus what is available in the market today. Number two, we must be able to reward that farmer. When we sat down with Verity and came up with a partnership, which is the CCB corridors, one of their strengths is the ability to deploy technology. When we sat down with the team, as we drove down the mountain to just have a look at what was happening, we deliberated, and out of the technical team, we were able to create a solution, which is the application that is able to monitor, that is able to capture before, after planting, reward the farmer, and on top of it, be able to monitor more forward as you go on. Now, a good example is himself. He's younger than me, as you can see, but he was able to plant using the application across the farm. He was able to capture the trees as he planted them. He's been able to keep monitoring them and following and taking care of them using the application. Now, this is one of the greatest solutions that the partnership between API and Verity, which created the CCB corridors, has been able to bring. Because with their technology, know-how, and expertise, they have been able to merge with our expertise on relation with the farmers and working with the farmers and working with the community and the society to be able to merge and come up with a solution.
The term CCB corridors means carbon and co-benefits, CCB corridors.
Right.
Now, we are in the business of generating high quality carbon and co-benefit credits. But the word corridors was a specific play on our strategy. The landscapes are fragmenting. Both biodiversity is fragmenting into islands. And if we can use the carbon market to plant trees and connect these islands, we can get 1 + 1 = 3. A really good example is when you're in the business of ecosystem restoration, you cannot look through a microscope and look at the root cause in isolation. Ecosystems are complex and are multi-layered. So when we went down to the coast and we're looking at blue carbon ecosystems, this is predominantly mangroves. The mangroves were dying. Why were they dying? Well, very simply, the canals were silting up. So if you are a blue carbon ecosystem restoration company, you should go plant lots of mangroves, and then you've solved the problem. No, you haven't solved the problem. You've not addressed the root cause of why the canals are silting up. When you restore ecosystems, you've got to bring the communities along with you. If your people are not on side, it is a when and not an if those ecosystems are degraded, or your good intentions are only slowing down the process but are not reversing the process. So what we do in our business is we look very carefully. Yes, carbon first, the market is purchasing carbon credits, but we look through the lens of the corridors and we say, all right, we need to address the high integrity carbon credits because the market is looking at purchasing that. What co-benefits can come along with them? We then look through the biodiversity lens and we look at the fauna, the flora, all the way through to, yes, the iconic, because people like the big iconic, the lion and the elephant. But we also look at it through the avian, the bird corridors. We look at it through the insect corridors. We look at the vegetation corridors.
Ensuring that local communities understand the problem, the proposed solutions, and the importance of their participation is crucial. As Duncan points out, excluding local communities from these plans won't lead to meaningful progress. These efforts must be carried out hand in hand with the people who call this land home. We spoke with Jane Nashape Lupembe, a member of Women in the Wild, an initiative dedicated to restoring Kenya's ecosystems, empowering women, and supporting local communities. She explains how Verity's project is impacting the lives of those in her community.
Hello, my name is Jen Nashape, and I work with Women in the Wild. So Women in the Wild is a community-based organization. We are a group of almost 30 people. Most of them are women. So we started by planting trees in the community and trying to create alternatives for the community, especially given that climate change has really been an issue in the Masai Mara. So Verity came in June and they approached us. And for me, we have so many achievements. But when Verity came, that's when I felt this is our biggest achievement. Because they came, they showed us this new app where you can plant a tree with an app. You can follow up the tree. You can see how the tree is surviving. You can even count. We've planted so many trees, but we lost count. But now with the app, you can easily tell how many trees you've planted, how many trees you've protected, how many trees have survived. Initially, we could just plant and some die, and now it was hard for us to really identify what number we have that are remaining. And so we're so grateful, and this is our biggest achievement this year, being recognized again. That means we're being recognized as a very small community. But now we're being recognized by so many people, and they're coming here to see us, and it's our biggest achievement. And that one makes the community even plant trees more. Not just planting trees, but also protecting the soil, protecting the water, ensuring that, again, we don't suffer floods. Because this is our land. And my kids, we have no other land to take our kids. This is the only land we have. And we are working so hard to ensure that we protect the land. And even when my kids grow, they can also continue protecting the land for us.
We traveled to Kenya to witness a vision in action. Verity's mission to plant up to 4 billion trees as part of President Ruto's 15 billion tree initiative. As we journeyed across the country, we saw firsthand how they operate and the people driving this change. We didn't just hear about the impact, we saw it. We met the communities already benefiting from this initiative, watched the land being revived, and witnessed a future being rewritten. Verity's program to reforest the nation has the potential to create millions of new jobs, empowering people whilst restoring the environment. As Duncan put it, carbon sequestration is just one piece of the puzzle. The co-benefits, economic opportunities, community resilience, and a thriving ecosystem are just as essential.
In our town, we are doing that for the new generations that are coming. We have got a team of young people, like my son and some other people. We are a group of about 200 people who are planting on a weekly basis once. And we think by doing that, we are going to make other people to engage.
Here in Kenya, when our project's ramping up at full, we're at about 56,000 jobs. We're dealing with 3 million farmers. We're talking wealthy landowners and small-scale farmers' back pockets. We're talking about millions of dollars of job opportunities, millions of dollars of business opportunities, millions of dollars of taxes that make their way through the community back into the national coffers and then back out into hospitals and airports and infrastructure, etc.
This has been the most amazing opportunity to be a part of founding Verity Nature and bringing these solutions to market, because we really are helping to leverage the technology and the capabilities of the modern systems that we can bring to market to really empower communities and drive positive change.
We didn't know it's going to impact so many people. And now the people in the community today, they come to our home. They see our homes, the homes for the women in the wild, and they really want to have the same homes and also the same trees that we've planted. And that's how we are changing and bringing more people on board. And that's how more people are coming to plant trees. And so I just realized that we are really making change. And we're hoping in the next few years, we have the whole community coming on board. Thank you so much. I'm so grateful for this.
If you're interested in learning more about Verity's project pipeline, please contact my team and I at Valaterra. Here are our contact details. We feel privileged to work as the exclusive agent for Verity Nature to commercialize their pipeline of amazing nature-based removal projects.